Well, as you can see, I'm sitting here in front of my Christmas tree. I like to do that at night a lot, actually. Sit and when it's quiet, I can meditate, I can pray, I can think, I can reflect. Something about Christmas just brings that out in me, and I want to sit and just sit with the Christmas tree, sit with the lights. I don't know if the significance of the lights was to remind us that Christ is the light of the world, but it certainly does that for me. I know Christmas is a bit over commercialized. You don't have to fall prey to that, and I'm not going to just spend a lot of time railing against that tonight. I think the gift giving is a pretty good idea. It certainly reflects what God has done for us, hasn't it? Where else would we get the idea of giving gifts except that God gave his son? In fact, John tells us in one of John's letters that we love because God first loved us. So this gift is really a gift of love for us. It's an unusual one. God gave his son to die for us, but that was all a part of the plan and all a part of what Christmas is all about. Christmas, as a lot of churches celebrate it, begins actually in the liturgical year with Advent. It's right around the beginning of December, 4 weeks of preparation for the coming of Christ. And we know he's already come, but is it not worth thinking about that him coming again, us receiving him all over again, us thinking about what it meant for us to receive him the first time and renew that commitment to receive him again and worship him all over again? It's good to remember how he came. A humble birth of humble working class parents in a humble stable. I don't know that it really matters that it wasn't on December 25th. Does that matter to you? The fact is, he came. And somewhere along the line, somebody thought it was a good idea for us to think about it. It is a major teaching of our faith, is it not? The incarnation. God became a human being. The Word became flesh and lived for a while among us. We prepare for his second coming by renewing our thoughts about his coming the first time. I think that's always a good thing. Peace, joy, hope. Who doesn't want to think about those things? All the things that have been associated with his coming. Peace on earth, the angels sang. Jesus told his disciples that they would have joy in a way that the world couldn't give them. And certainly we have the hope, a hope beyond this life, a hope to overcome the evils of this life. I want you to do something over the next day or two. Obviously, besides listening to this and thinking about Christmas, I want you to sit in front of your Christmas tree on Christmas Eve and just think about a few things. And maybe you can even go online and Google Christmas 1914. Or maybe you should say Christmas Truce 1914. Because it was during World War I, Christmas of that year, that the German troops and the Allied troops actually got together and celebrated Christmas. It was strictly a spontaneous thing. It didn't happen for the next 3 years during the war. But you might want to just take a look at that and think about it. I won't give you all the details here, but isn't it fascinating that Christ can do that? And it was strictly a thing that wasn't done by any of the important officials in any of the governments. It was just the soldiers deciding that they wanted to wish each other well and talk about their families and wish each other a Merry Christmas. It's kind of interesting that peace, joy, and hope given by Christ transcends war, transcends evil, transcends the things that go on in this life. I pray that would continue. Jesus came for salvation, but he also came for other things. We worship the baby. We worship this time. We think about this time, and it's kind of a time for a certain amount of sentiment, isn't it? Every time a baby is born, there's a beauty about it. There's happiness. There's joy. But in this case, the joy had a much deeper meaning. Think about some of the things that were said, things that surrounded the birth. His mother, for example, she had this to say. Speaking of God, He has done a mighty deed with His arm. He has scattered the proud because of the thoughts of their hearts. He has toppled the mighty from their thrones and exalted the lowly. John the Baptist's father, Zechariah, had this to say when John was born. He has dealt mercifully with our fathers and remembered His holy covenant, the oath that He swore to our father Abraham. He has given us this privilege since we have been rescued from the hand of our enemies to serve Him without fear in holiness and righteousness in His presence all our days. And you, child, will be called a prophet of the Most High. Talk about delivering us, toppling the lowly, delivering us from our enemies. Those are things that the child, when he grew, would actually do. Free the oppressed, we know all the things Jesus said about Himself. But as you think about Christmas, I hope it goes very deep for you. Sit in front of your tree at night, maybe when everybody's in bed, and just reflect on what that coming means to you. I hope it means a lot. I hope it gives you hope. I hope it gives you joy and peace. Merry Christmas to all of you.